It's important to know which phones are compatible with a new iPhone software update before it's unveiled. There will be an iOS 16 public beta in July and a final version in the autumn, as seen at WWDC 2022. The Apple iOS 16 preview page on Apple's website lists all the models that will be supported by iOS 16, despite the fact that Apple did not release this information at its WWDC keynote. If you have an iPhone 7, you may be in for a big disappointment. Which other devices are on the list? Join us as today we will reveal iOS-supported devices. Without further ado, let's get started. For starters, iOS 16 is reported to support iPhones 8 and higher, implying that iOS 16 is compatible with any Apple phone released after the fall of 2017. In addition, it contains the iPhone X, which was released the same year as the iPhone 8, and the second-generation iPhone SE. Also, the iPhone 7, which was launched 1 year before the iPhone 8, is included in the list. It's also worth noting that the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus will be 6 years old this autumn, placing them on the outside of Apple's software support. Expectedly, the original iPhone SE, the iPhone 6s, and the iPhone 6s Plus will no longer be supported by Apple. Even if you flip your iPhone 6 upside down to become iPhone 9, you still wouldn't have the Apple iOS 16. Also, because Apple discontinued the iPod Touch earlier this year, iOS 16 will not include support for it. Because Apple hasn't introduced the iPhone 14 or iPhone 14 Pro, they aren't included in this list. However, the iPhones that Apple will deliver this autumn will come pre-installed with iOS 16. Moreover, even though all of the devices mentioned are compatible with iOS 16, not all of them will be able to take use of the new features that Apple has emphasized. In order to utilize live text and visual lookup, you'll need an iPhone XR, XS, or later with an A12 Bionic CPU. If you have an A12 processor in your iPhone, you'll be able to use live text and video and remove the theme of a visual lookup. Search from its backdrop for more efficient searching. We will tell you more about live text in the next few moments, so kindly stay with us. Apple iOS 16 also includes new accessibility capabilities, which need newer iPhones to use. In order to use live video captions, you'll need an iPhone 11 or later, and an iPhone 12 or 13 is required for door recognition. Now let us talk about the iOS 16 features. Before that, kindly subscribe to our channel so you do miss out on any of our content. Now, back to the video. Number 4. Always on display. Apple ultimately implemented an always-on display with time, date, alerts, and other quick facts at a glance back before the iPhone 13 was released. Those phones did come with it, but the reports of an always-on display functionality being tested might have been about an iOS 16 feature. Apple is expecting display supply chain consultant CEOs Ross Young to use an LTO display, which decreases the refresh rate to 1 Hz while not in use. A reduced refresh rate is essential for maintaining battery life, which is likely why Apple has failed to add the functionality. It's worth noting that this feature was not mentioned in the WWDC 2022 presentation.
That is a great deal of speculation.
However, we're still hoping for an always-on screen before the end of the year. Number 3. New features. To begin with, let's look at the lock screen. You can now change the colors and fonts. Widgets make it simple to maintain tabs on the weather, your activity rings, and any other data you want close at hand. With numerous lock screens, each with its own wallpaper and widgets, you can effortlessly switch between them, similar to the Apple Watch faces. Furthermore, there are lock screen customization options. The appearance of these has been altered. They now seem to roll in from the bottom of the screen, which makes more sense. A new method to keep tabs on sports events, Uber trips, exercises, and other activities right from the lock screen was also unveiled by Apple. Now, let's talk about focus and focus filters.
And now, your focus can also carry into the apps themselves with focus filters, which let you filter out distracting content.
Focus modes may now be linked to your lock screen, widgets, and notification settings. You can activate the associated focus mode by swiping to a certain lock screen. You can also associate focus with a lock screen. Focus filters are now available. For example, if you're in work focus mode, you may opt to view just the Safari tabs related to the project you're working on or to filter out unrelated messages in Messages and Mail. On the subject of Messages and Mail, there is an enhancement that we are certain will impress you, including the ability to designate any thread as unread and more. So keep an eye on the news to find out. Number 2. Live text. Live text may now be applied to both video and still photos. When you pause a video, the text becomes alive and may be copied or translated. According to Apple, Live Text will also enable faster access to translation and currency conversion capabilities. The associated visual lookup function, which was launched in iOS 15 and employs artificial intelligence to identify plants, animals, and locations in your photographs, has also been updated. It can now distinguish birds, insects, and sculptures. However, it can use the same AI to recognize the borders of imaged items, allowing you to press and hold to pull them out of the shot and into other applications like Messages. Number 1. Messages and Mail. Messages are getting 3 major updates, according to Apple. After messages have been sent, you can edit and unsend them, as well as designate any thread as unread. There are a slew of additional aesthetic aspects for personalizing your Memoji, including different haircuts and headwear, nose shapes, and stances.
This is great!
In terms of email, new features include scheduled sends and the ability to recall sent messages, to name a few. Mail will identify and notify users about missed attachments, and there are new Remind Later and follow-up tools that will remind users when they or a recipient haven't replied to an email. That is all we have for you today. If you want to know more exciting features, check out our video on iOS 16 best features so far that will shock you. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.